Good day, class. So for today's lesson, we will discuss the fundamentals of art. The contemporary arts forms based on the elements and principles in our lesson 4. So art and its appreciation can never be possible without the knowledge of its basic concepts. It is important to determine the basic element that comprises art and its forms to appreciate further its meaning and relevance to human life and existence. So, at the end of our lesson, the students are expected to identify the varied definitions of arts, determine the characteristics that makes art unique, understand the elements of arts, and differentiate the different forms of art. The nature of art. There are varied ways to define the nature and characteristics of art. It is a concept which basically provides color and substance to our everyday existence as humans. Life without art is dull and without meaning. Art is basically stimulates our senses and cognitive abilities as it allows the expressions of emotions and the subjective self. Art is tangible manifestations and product of human activity that allows the expression of individual through a set of skills. Also, it requires creative skills and imagination that can produce a thing of beauty and power. It shows not only the artist's skills and thought, but it may represent as well a larger community as it reflects the life, the culture, and history of a group of people in a given time and space. So, in other words, art gives meaning to our lives and help us understand our world. It is an essential part of our culture because it allows us to have a deeper understanding of our emotions. Also, art increases our self-awareness and also allow us to be open to new ideas and experiences. Art as defined in varied ways. Art, according to Plato, is merely an imitation or a copy of reality. For him, art is illusion, a collection of reflections. He stated that true forms were created by God, and they are all perfect and therefore cannot be replicated. This argument shows art is considered by Plato as mere imitations of what is real in our environment. So Plato says that art imitates the objects and events of ordinary life. In other words, a work of art is a copy of a form. It is even more of an illusion than is ordinary experiences. Plato also asserted that when artists are making or performing art, they are imitating. Art imitates physical things, just like objects or events, and physical things imitate forms, and therefore art is a copy of a copy. The third remove from reality. Next, we have art according to Leo Tolstoy. According to him, the production or elements from the external environment that pleases the senses, that is art according to Leo Tolstoy. Also, art unifies men as they produce the same feelings and sentiments. The same may lead to a better and more progressive life and society. So Tolstoy defines art as an expression of a feeling or experience in such a way that the audience to whom the art is directed can share that feeling or experiences. To the contrary, good art can communicate its meaning to most people because it expresses its meaning in a way which can be understood by everyone. Next, in the world of Eugene Veron, art is an external manifestation created and produced through lines, movements, sounds, colors, and emotions. This defines the subjectivity of art as an external manifestation of human feelings and thoughts. Art in this definition reflects human subjectivity in the form of elements that stimulates these senses. So in other words, Eugene Veron defines art as a means of communication and is an important means of expression of any experiences or of any aspect of the human condition. Next, art and its visual elements. In order to understand how to describe a painting or a sculpture, it is important to comprehend first the visual elements of art. These visual elements of art are the following: the line, color, shape, space, value, texture, time, and motion. So we have the first one. We have a line. Line refers to a prolongation of a point or a mark on a surface. So it simply means that if we draw a single point in a given space and we simply move that point, then we create a line because we applied prolongation by moving our point from one place to another. Solid lines can be used in order to define form, while broken lines are typically used to suggest hidden forms. So for solid lines, ito yung mga linya na makakapal or tinatawag natin na bold lines. And if we recall our knowledge about the two types of outlines, we have the light outlines and the heavy outlines. That is also called solid lines because they have a thickness that defines the characteristics of a forms. So lines are also used to suggest dimensions. Lines are thin and are used to show the actual size of an object. That is the reason why it is suggested as a dimension, and also to guide visual movement. So as you can see here in our image, if we draw a vertical line that is vertically straight, then it is obviously defines not only ambition and strength, but it also defines stability. We can create these vertical lines by simply creating a point from top to downward movement. We can also use drawing instruments like ruler to create a vertically straight line. We have also a solid diagonal line, usually defines dynamic action, as you can see in our image. It signifies conflict or stress because when we look at a diagonal line, it seems that it is continuous motions, in a continuous motion, slowly tilting because of its slope or inclination. That is why it is also called inclined lines in technical drawing. Then we have also here an image of a horizontal lines. wherein it signifies rest and peace. It seems like it has a negative implication. No one likes to be in rest and peace. But in drawing, we define these horizontal lines as a line that is parallel to the lower edge of a drawing paper. We can create these lines with the help of a drawing instruments like ruler or a T-square. Same thing when we create a vertical line and a diagonal line. So lines also termed as strokes in digital artworks and marks the distance between 2 points, which is used for outlines and implied lines in artwork. And it has a width called a thickness. It has direction as well as length. Lines also create a moving point or object which can be straight, jog, broken, dash, diagonal, vertical, horizontal, curve, parallel, and etc. As you can see in our images, we have examples of different lines and different interpretations. We have here the curve, so not all lines are straight because we have this irregular curve and regular curve lines. We have the straight lines, we have the diagonal lines, also called inclined lines. We have zigzag lines. We have also dash or dotted lines. We have also perpendicular lines, which consists of a vertically straight lines and horizontal lines that is connected by a right angle or 90-degree angle. We have here the wavy lines. Then we have also parallel lines that can be defined as you can see in our image, that is 2 lines in the same plane that are at equal distance from each other and never met at the same time. Next, we have also shape and mass. So this element of art refers to an area with boundaries identified or drawn using lines. A shape may be based on natural or living forms. So this shape is called an organic shape, just like when you draw a shape of a leaves of a flower, an apple, and all related shapes related to real life objects or still life objects, and can be irregularly or rounded because everything in our surroundings usually has an irregular shape. A shape may also be based on measured forms, just like a cylinder, a cube, a sphere, or a pyramid, and all other forms that is 3-dimensional in representation. And this shape, on the other hand, is called a geometric shape. In contrast to shape, which is 2-dimensional, mass refers to solid forms of a 3-dimensional object. For example, a triangle, that is a side of a 3-dimensional pyramid, a circle that is the shape of a 3-dimensional sphere, a square that is based on a 3-dimensional cube, and some other 2-dimensional shapes that is in accordance to a 3-dimensional object or forms.